Have you ever felt frustrated at the sight of corruption eating away at the pillars of society, longing for someone who could tackle this plague head-on? Imagine a brave man, a leader who dared to challenge the system, paying the highest price for his integrity. Pertinax was that emperor. In a world where corruption ruled, he emerged as a figure of hope and justice. On this journey, we'll delve into Pertinax's story, understand his motivations, and discover how his struggle still resonates today. If you've ever wanted to see a true leader stand up against injustice, this story is for you. So let's start our video journey. But first, check if you're already subscribed, and if you're not, don't forget to subscribe, because on this channel I'll be bringing you several exciting stories about the Roman Empire every day, and you can't miss a single one. Since ancient times, corruption has been a constant plague infiltrating the structures of power and governance, eroding the pillars of justice and integrity. Even great leaders, entrusted with looking after the welfare of their peoples, have often succumbed to the temptation to use their power and influence for their own benefit, distorting the norms of the state to suit personal interests. Rome, the eternal city, despite its greatness, rich culture, and significant contributions to world law, has not been immune to this scourge. Throughout its history, Rome has had its share of magistrates, emperors, senators, and aristocrats involved in corruption schemes. In this video, we will explore the short but impactful trajectory of Emperor Pertinax, whose tireless fight against corruption in the Roman Empire tragically culminated in the premature end of his reign. Pertinax is a unique example of integrity and determination, a figure who tried, however briefly, to change the course of Roman history and restore morality to an era marked by decadence and dishonesty. Born on August 1st, 126 AD in Alba Pompeii, Liguria, Pertinax was the son of Helvius Successus, a former slave who rose to wealth and success in the wool trade. This remarkable social leap allowed Pertinax to receive a classical education, giving him a solid grounding in grammar, philosophy, and rhetoric. From an early age, Pertinax showed a sharp mind and steely determination, characteristics that made him stand out among his contemporaries and paved his path to public service. Pertinax began his professional life as a grammar teacher, a respectable position, but one that offered little financial reward and few prospects for advancement. In 161 AD, at the age of 35, dissatisfied with his situation, he made the courageous decision to abandon teaching and join the military. This bold choice, unusual for someone with no previous experience in the field, was made easier by his solid education and the financial support of his family. Appointed commander of a small legion of Gaulish soldiers in Syria, Pertinax quickly distinguished himself. His leadership skills and administrative ability became evident, not only in military operations, but also in the effective management of resources and the maintenance of discipline among his troops. His reputation as a fair and competent leader began to grow, and he was soon promoted to positions of greater responsibility. Throughout his military career, Pertinax served with distinction in various regions of the empire, facing both natural and human challenges. He demonstrated an innate talent for military strategy and an unwavering commitment to justice and administrative efficiency. His reforms in the provinces under his command were aimed at reducing corruption and improving public administration, always putting the well-being of citizens above personal and political interests. Pertinax soon rose to the rank of tribune, where he was responsible for administrative and logistical tasks that demonstrated his organizational talent. His competence in these areas did not go unnoticed, and he was summoned to fight alongside the future Emperor Marcus Aurelius in the campaigns on the Danube frontier. In these campaigns, his strategic skills and courage in battle earned him respect and admiration, not only among his soldiers, but also among his superiors. Despite some initial friction with his superiors due to his direct and often inflexible style, Pertinax built close ties with Marcus Aurelius, who recognized his value and potential. This relationship with the future emperor was crucial to his rapid rise up the Roman hierarchy. Thanks to Marcus Aurelius' trust, Pertinax was appointed senator, and his political career began to flourish. As a senator, Pertinax continued to demonstrate his leadership and administrative skills. He served as consul, one of the highest and most prestigious positions in the Roman Empire, where his decisions significantly influenced the politics and administration of the empire. He was later appointed governor of Asia, where he implemented a series of reforms that significantly improved provincial administration, increasing efficiency and reducing corruption. Later, Pertinax was transferred to govern Syria, a province of vital strategic importance to Rome. There, he continued his mission to reform and improve the provincial administration, facing both internal and external challenges with skill and determination. In recognition of his successes and his integrity, Pertinax was finally appointed prefect of Rome in 189 AD, a position of great prestige and responsibility. As prefect, he stepped up his tireless fight against corruption and social injustice, winning both allies and powerful enemies. At the same time, Commodus, son of Marcus Aurelius, was already emperor. After Commodus' assassination by poisoning and strangulation on December 31, 192 AD, the throne of the empire became vacant, plunging Rome into a state of panic and bloodshed. With no candidates from Commodus' family to occupy the position of emperor, it fell to the Praetorian Guard to choose a successor to the throne. After the removal of Commodus' body, the conspirators of his death, led by Laerto Selectus, went to Pertinax's residence to offer him the throne. Pertinax accepted without hesitation, aware of the need to secure support to consolidate his rule. That same night, Pertinax rushed to the camp of the Praetorian Guard, where he guaranteed the soldiers' loyalty by offering them a generous bonus of 12,000 sesterces each. He then went to the Senate, where the late Commodus was condemned and Pertinax was proclaimed emperor. However, the initial acceptance of the throne quickly turned to astonishment and disgust when Pertinax was faced with the empire's ruined finances, the legacy of Commodus' excesses. Determined to rebuild the empire and tackle the corruption that threatened Rome's stability, Pertinax acted swiftly. The historian Cassius Dio wrote of Pertinax, "He immediately put in order everything that had previously been irregular and confused." He demonstrated not only humanity and integrity in imperial administration, but also the most economical administration and the most careful consideration for the public welfare. Pertinax initiated a series of rigorous reforms, cutting excessive spending, promoting meritocracy, and combating the rampant corruption that had become entrenched in Roman power structures. His reforms included recovering wrongfully confiscated property, reviewing tax privileges, and imposing strict discipline on the armed forces. He also sought to re-establish public confidence in the government, showing himself to be accessible and fair in his decisions. Unfortunately, these reforms, although necessary, quickly generated powerful enemies. The beneficiaries of the old corrupt system saw Pertinax as a direct threat to their privileges. The Praetorian Guard, dissatisfied with the bonuses offered and accustomed to the extravagant generosity of Commodus, became a focus of discontent. On March 28, 193 AD, after only 86 days of reign, a group of Praetorian Guards stormed the palace and murdered Pertinax, tragically ending his brief effort to restore integrity and justice to the Roman Empire. Pertinax's death was a devastating blow to Rome, but his legacy of integrity and moral courage endures. His determination to fight corruption and his attempts to reform the empire are remembered as an inspiring example of leadership and commitment to the public good, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable adversity. In order to rebuild the empire's finances and fulfill this promise to the Praetorians, Pertinax initiated a series of drastic measures. Determined to stabilize the Roman treasury, he auctioned off everything he could, including statues, weapons, horses, furniture, and many of the items acquired unnecessarily by Commodus. This sale of goods allowed Pertinax to raise the funds needed to pay the bonuses promised to the Praetorian Guard. However, these actions were not enough to win the soldiers' lasting loyalty, especially as Pertinax also cut back on all the extravagances that Commodus had granted the legionaries. As his rule progressed, Pertinax implemented ever stricter cuts in state spending and applied strict measures to combat corruption. He launched a groundbreaking agrarian reform, offering uncultivated land and imperial estates to anyone willing to look after and cultivate them, tax and duty-free for a period of 10 years. In addition, Pertinax was ruthless in prosecuting corrupt officials, such as a member of the palace whom he prosecuted for embezzlement. These reforms initially pleased the Roman people, who saw Pertinax as a fair and reformist leader. However, his popularity began to wane when he reduced the number of gladiatorial games, an entertainment deeply rooted in Roman culture. Making so many changes in just 2 months in office made Pertinax unpopular among various segments of Roman society. Even the governors of the provinces were reluctant to support him, remembering the follies of Commodus and adopting a cautious attitude towards any new emperor. Pertinax's situation was becoming increasingly precarious. His attempt to carry out comprehensive reforms in a short period of time generated discontent and resistance. In March 193 AD, just 3 months after taking the throne, Pertinax was brutally murdered by disgruntled members of the Praetorian Guard, marking the tragic end of an emperor whose vision of a reformed and just empire had succumbed to the entrenched forces of corruption and Roman conservatism. Soon, conspiracies to remove him from power began to be plotted. While Pertinax was in Ostia, inspecting a shipment of grain, an assassination plot was uncovered. Those involved were arrested and executed, but with each passing day, the Praetorian Guard, the Senate and the people became increasingly dissatisfied with his rule. It was then, on March 28, 193 AD, that around 300 guards stormed the gates of the imperial palace. Emilio Leto, who had been Commodo's chamberlain and now served Pertinax, ordered him to flee for safety. However, Pertinax, showing his characteristic courage, preferred to stay and try to talk to the soldiers. His attempt to appeal to the reason and honor of the Praetorians was in vain. The guards, already determined to remove him from power, did not hesitate to stab him to death. In the midst of the attack, when one of the guards thrust his sword into him, Pertinax said his last words, "You are thrusting the sword into the emperor." With that, his rule of just 87 days came to an end in a brutal and tragic way. What could have been a reformist and just government ended in disapproval and disaster, a sad repetition of the fate of other emperors before him. Pertinax's head was severed, placed on a pole and paraded through the streets of Rome, an act designed to intimidate anyone else who dared to follow suit. With no clear successor in sight, the throne was once again vacant, and Pertinax became the first of what would become known as the Year of the Five Emperors. The empire was soon plunged into a civil war that lasted 4 years, until the dust settled and a new order was established. Pertinax's story is a powerful reminder of the difficulties inherent in fighting corruption and trying to reform a decaying empire. His brief administration, marked by integrity and tireless efforts to restore order and justice, ended tragically. However, his legacy continues to inspire those who believe in the importance of honest leaders committed to the public good. If you enjoyed this video and want to follow more fascinating stories from the past, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment below about what you thought of Pertinax's journey and if there are any other historical leaders you'd like to see here. Your participation is very important to us. See you next time.